All right, first question, Tim.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Luka, what have you been dealing with your chest? Was there any question in your mind about being able to go tonight? And, how are you feeling physically throughout this game, especially going into the fourth quarter?
Me, yeah, actually it was. But, I always want to play. So we did all day. We did a lot of things to get it ready for the game.
And how were you feeling physically tonight? Obviously a lot of minutes, going into the fourth quarter especially.
Good. I was okay.
Second row.
Luka, it looked like you had an interaction with this Celtics owner. Did he do something or say something that you thought was over the line?
I'm sorry, I don't know who's the Celtics owner.
Was there somebody in the first row that you were having an exchange with that was the Celtics owner?
No.
Mike.
Luka. Mike Curtis, the Dallas Morning News. In a game where the Celtics shot 26% from three, Jason Tatum didn't have a necessarily good offensive outing. Does it feel like a missed opportunity that you guys weren't able to capitalize in a game like this?
Every game we lose, it's a missed opportunity for us.
Go here. No, we'll go here on the first row, pink shirt.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Luka, later in the game, it seemed like you guys started to be able to get more people involved, but for a while there, first and second quarter, even into the third, it seemed like it was heavily you. What did finally start to work, and how can you guys get more people involved offensively earlier on in the game?
So you said in the third there was less people involved?
I'm saying in the first half it was mostly you, and then you guys eventually started to get more people involved. What eventually worked?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't work because we lost. But, at the end of the day, we got to make some more shots. I think my turnovers and my missed free throws cost us a game. So I got to do way better in those two categories. But at the end of the day, we got to make shots to win the game.
To the left, Tomer.
Tomer Zarla with Clutch Points. Luka, Celtics are already a deep team, and you guys have shown a lot of your depth, but when the shot making is not going down, it's a bit more apparent. I guess, how do you guys counteract their depth, just given that, Tatum and Brown can have an off night and Drew can kind of go off?
Yeah, I mean, they're good. That's why they're the number one team in the NBA with the number one record. They have a lot of great players. Practically anybody can get off. So honestly, I think we didn't do a bad job defending today. We took away some threes. We contested more threes. But like I said, I had too many turnovers and we missed a lot of free throws. So I think that cost us the game.
Third row on the right, left.
Tadeja Lampret, Pop TV. Luka, igro Bostona ste seveda dobro analizirali, ampak so vas v teh prvih dveh finalnih tekmah s čimerkoli presenetili?
Ne, niso me z ničem presenetili. Vemo, kako igrajo, celo sezono so tako igrali. Tako da niso glih nas s nečem presenetili. Treba je pa, tako kot smo danes trojke vzeti iz njihove igre.
Third row on the right.
Luka at ESEFCOMavs.com. How tough has their defense been physically, and are they doing something unusual or different for you, or are you guys having breakdowns offensively?
I mean, they're physical, yeah. But, they're trying to guard one-on-one. I think today they're trying to help more, so I was able to get some teammates open. But they're physical. They're very physical. They let them be physical. So they're pretty amazing in defense.
Brad.
Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. Do you remember how exactly did the injury occur? Jason wasn't sure if you took a charge or were you diving for a loose ball?
I think it was a charge. We don't really know because I didn't feel it till the next day. So I was really surprised. So we think it was the charge.
And then secondly, as the series goes back to Dallas for games 3 and 4, what do you think most of all that you guys need to do to turn the series around?
We got to make shots, we got to make free throws, and less turnovers. Those three things, I think, are the key for a win, to win.
Last row on the right.
Richard Moore in USA Today. Boston hasn't lost a game on the road yet this postseason. What specifically can you do at home to make things a little bit more difficult for them? Is there anything specific at home that you guys can do?
Score more points. At the end of the day, it's basketball away or home. We just got to play better basketball to win.
Fifth row on the left.
¿Qué tal, Luca? Katia Sorena, ESPN. ¿Qué viste distinto del equipo de Celtics defensivamente en la segunda mitad? Dijeron que hicieron un énfasis para buscar neutralizarte a ti en lo personal.
Nada. Han jugado igual, creo. Así que nada, el primer tiempo, el segundo tiempo. En el segundo pasaba más el balón, intentando a mis compañeros para que anoten, pero igual los dos tiempos. Okay.
Front row here in the center. Okay. Bob.
Hi, Luca. Do you guys take something away from staying around because they seem to be putting so much pressure to keep trying to pull away? Do you guys take solace that you were able to stay in the game for as long as, right to the end?
Sorry, I don't understand you.
Well, I mean, they seem to be ready to pull away in several different points in the fourth quarter. Do you guys take something away from it by being able to stay in the game right to the last minute?
Yes. Yeah, I don't really know how to respond, but yes. I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks, Luca.
I mean, yeah, we agree on that. I mean, what is it about him? He just makes an intangible plays. He hits the 27-footer to beat the shot clock. Like, it just seems like he is so reliable. I mean, can you touch on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it just comes back to he's not defined by one thing. He's not if you were to ask, like, he's just a little bit of everything. He can handle in pick and roll. He can score in pick and roll. He can stay spaced. He's not defined by scoring. He rebounds. He plays defense. He can play pick and roll ball handler, the pick and roll screener. He's had blocks on bigs. And so he's just another guy that's selfless and wants to impact the game in any way that he can. And it looks different every night. And I think the thing about him is the confidence that he has to maybe go some possessions or half or, because teams are guarding us differently, his frequency can be impacted because of that at times. But he just fights to impact the game in different ways.
John, over on the right.
John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. When a team is struggling shooting from three, there might be a tendency to say, okay, we're just going to drive it. But you guys continued to, when you did drive it, make those right reads despite that. What kind of discipline does it take to not get into that thing of like forcing missed layups that you keep talking about that could trigger another team's run, and to keep kicking it out, and eventually a couple of huge threes fall down at the end?
Yeah, listen, the most important thing is getting a good shot and not turning it over. So in the first half, even though we're missing, our expected points per shot was much higher than theirs, and I liked every shot that we took, and that's the most important thing, is take what the defense gives you, whether it's a layup or there. And the second piece to that was our offensive rebounding. And so I think we had an offensive rebounding rate in the first half of like 41%. And died down in the second half. But like when you're not shooting it well, you still want to make the right play so that it doesn't impact the other end of the floor. But you have to have the offensive rebounding capacity to get extra possessions. And I thought we did a really good job of that in the first half and had some timely ones in the second half.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. Did Porzingis re-aggravate the calf, and what's your concern level for him for Game 3?
No, 0. He's good.
Next question, standing back left on 2. Hold on for the mic.
Joe, Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. You touched on it briefly, but the buzzer beater that that Pritchard hit, huge shot, his only make of the night. What makes you trust him in those moments?
He's has the humility and the selflessness to not care if he misses it. He practices it and has an understanding of how a shot like that can impact the end of a quarter and can impact the run that a team makes. So that, they had went on a run to end the quarter, and I thought that shot kind of gave us a little bit of poise and a little bit of momentum that we needed heading into the fourth quarter. That was big time.
Tim, last question here. We got Derek White coming in next.
You sub Peyton in right before that. Was the plan for him to run up and take that shot there?
Yeah. He takes pride in that, yes.
And you guys, you pride yourself on process a lot as a team. Obviously, in a night where you didn't hit a lot of shots, especially from deep, the offense kept moving. You kept trusting the shots, and you hit a couple late. Did you like the way you guys stuck with?
Yeah. Because you have to look at the other side of the coin. If you get away from the discipline and doing what you're doing in those situations, it's going to lead to other things. And it goes to the trust that the guys have in each other. And so, as long as you're taking great shots, you have to trust the process. On the back end of that, you got to have your offensive rebounding rate to help you. And when things aren't going that way, you have to keep them off the free throw line, which you didn't do a great job of. But we had 3 25-point quarters. So what usually happens is you have those empty possessions on the offensive end, your defense starts to wane, or you start to mistrust the discipline of your spacing and your shot selection, and you end up giving transition and getting cross-matched. And so the guys trusted and stayed disciplined, and we were able to stay out of cross-matches, and we were able to kind of, keep the game in the way we wanted to play it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Derek White will be up next. Over here in the third row. On your right.
Derek, David Aldridge with The Athletic. Can you just walk us through that chase down block that you and Jalen combined on at the last minute?
Yeah, I'm just sprinting back, trying to make a play. Obviously they were making a little run there, and whatever means necessary, just sprinting back and meet him at the rim.
Adam, all the way in the back, center.
Yeah. Obviously, we've seen you make these plays kind of over and over. What's kind of like a play like that? What's like your process? What kind of things, what keys are you looking for? How do you make sure your timing is right? Is there a point where you realize you might have to abandon the play? Like, just kind of what's like the step-by-step for you?
I think my first 3 steps is really important. Just kind of put my head down and run. And then at that time, just trust the instincts and trust the timing that I have. And so just putting my head down and sprinting as fast as I can just to get in position and then go up and make a play.
Right here in the center.
Derek, 5 fouls combined in the first quarter in Game 1, 13 here in Game 2. How does this group respond to increased physicality, and where do you fit in that?
Every game's different. Every game's officiated a little differently, and so whatever it takes, you just got to make adjustments. I think both teams are just trying to figure it out, especially early, and then just competing at a high level.
Again in the middle.
Joe called Peyton Pritchard's shot the play of the game tonight. As a teammate, what is it like to see him check into the game, hit that shot, and then go crazy celebrating the way that he did?
That's what Peyton Pritchard does. If you watch us, late clock, like he doesn't shy away from that moment. That was a big time shot. Kind of got us momentum, and you just love Peyton. You love competing with him, and this is a big time shot.
Second row on your right.
Drew Holiday obviously had the big game, basically just playing off of you guys and being in the right spots. You guys seem to have gelled really well with Drew, with KP. Like, that's 2 big additions this offseason. You seem to have gelled from the start of the year. Was there a moment in time throughout the season where you really noticed that your guys' chemistry kicked up a notch, or was it just instant from the jump, yeah, this is it?
I think a lot of credit just goes to the type of people they are. They've done so much, and I can't begin to talk about how thankful and grateful I am for Drew just kind of allowing me to kind of take that next step. And he could have easily came in and be like, I'm Drew Holiday. And I've been like, you are Drew Holiday, 100%. But he kind of just did a little different than what he's done the last few years. And just each game getting more comfortable. KP the same way. And I just love being teammates with both of them.
Chris over here.
Just following up on that for a second, you said Drew's presence had allowed you to kind of take the next step. How so? Like, how do you feel his presence has allowed you to become the player you've been this year?
Yeah, I think just him just taking, like, he's not on the ball as much as he probably has been in his career, and just doing whatever the team needs. He could take 3 shots, he could take 14 shots. He just stays the same and consistent, and just a guy like that just knows how to compete at a high level and know how to win.
And just on your depth in the series, how do you feel that's played and kind of perhaps wearing down Luka and Kyrie a little bit later in the game, what you're able to do against them on both ends, multiple looks? Have you seen that play, and how key was your depth tonight?
Yeah, the whole year, the strength of this team has been 1 through however many guys we got. We trust whoever goes in the game, and those guys just work so hard, and every time anybody checks in the game, they just give us great minutes. And so we trust everybody, and everybody's making big plays for us.
Gary in the middle, and then Dave left.
Gary Washington, Boston Globe. You're an all shucks kind of guy, but when someone is running the break and but you do chase downs, do you say to yourself, I got this dude? Like, what do you think when you're running full speed? Because you've had too many not to think, like, I can't believe this dude's going to try this on me. Like, there's got to be a arrogance there to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's why I got dunked on earlier. But it's part of the game. I think just that not afraid to get dunked on allows me to get some that maybe some people wouldn't have gotten. So I'm just trying to make a play, just believe in my abilities and what I can do.
Dave, last question here. We're bringing up Drew.
Derek, a bunch of you guys got here 2 years ago. Obviously, we all know that. Drew got here 3 years ago, and his team won it all. Like, what type of weight or clout or whatever does that or validation does that bring to his words when he's added to this group?
Yeah, I mean, that experience, that just championship DNA, which you hear all about all the time. I mean, you don't really know what it takes till you do what it takes. And so, I mean, just the moment he came to our team in the training camp, he kind of just had that presence about him, and he just knows how to win.
Thank you. Drew will be right up. We'll take first question over there in the back right.
If I could say something first.
Sure.
And just
Go ahead.
address the comment that was made yesterday. Oh, nice ringtone. I feel like people kind of took that out of context, and I've been hearing that I prefer JB over JT, and that's not what that was. I like to praise my teammates. I like to praise my teammates when they're playing well, and I feel like that's what I did my best to do. When I got here, JT was the first person to text me. I already know that, and both of them know how I feel about them and how I feel about them as players. But to compare them is something that I would never do, because they're 2 completely different players, as well as being on the same team and the things that they've done in this organization and the things that they've done against me as an opponent. I feel like how they play together and how they work together is something that is sacred and something that can't be broken. So just to address the comment yesterday, I do not prefer one or the other. I prefer both. Both of them are superstars, and it's being shown out here on the biggest stage in the world. Questions, please.
First question in the back right.
Champ Lunas, ABS-CBN News. Drew, how were you able to shred Dallas's defense, effectively cutting to the basket majority of the game? And how do you feel when Kyrie gives up the ball when you guard him?
Again, I don't think I'm shredding the defense. I think it's more so JT and JB. Especially tonight, JT was getting into the paint and being double teamed and making the right plays out of it, and just finding me. You know, just either being at the dunker or being in the corner. He has that vision as a playmaker. So I would give that to them.
Back left, standing.
Drew, Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. The buzzer beater that Peyton hit, if he doesn't hit that, you guys are up 6 going into the fourth. Just as someone with your defensive chops, what does that do to a defense when someone hits a shot like that at the end of a quarter?
Well, first I fouled Kyrie and put him on the free throw line, and I got my 3rd foul. So Peyton came in for me. So that's no, I didn't want to foul him, but I'm kind of glad that I did. And the energy that Peyton brings, him just having the balls to take that shot, and he's done it so many times this year where he's had the courage to take it and he's knocked it in has been huge for us. So it was definitely a confidence boost and really just boosted us for the rest of that game.
Shane, on your right.
Hey, Drew. Shane Young with Forbes. I'm just curious, what, in your opinion, drives the closeness and togetherness of this group? Is part of it the fact that everyone's had to sacrifice a little bit of something?
I think when you sacrifice together and you do something together, it brings you closer. I think being able to go through wins and losses and to build something, it means a lot. So when you go through things like that, I think it makes you closer, and I think that's what this team has done. From 1 to 15, somebody sacrificed something. So it's been great, and the journey's been awesome. But at the end of the day, the job's not done.
Jake, over here on the left.
Drew, you were praising JT's ability to draw to and make the right read. When you're in the dunker, going on the baseline, for him specifically compared to other ball handlers on your team, what are you reading about his handle and what he's doing to try to put yourself in the right position?
I think just trying to get into space and trying to be in his vision. I know that sometimes when I drive and I might get stuck, I need somebody to drift with me or to kind of be in space and be in my vision. So I think for the most part, I just try to stay in front of him, give him a good outlet, and he's been making great reads.
On your right, 5th row in the aisle.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Drew, I know lots of things probably factor into why a player is comfortable with a certain team, but I wanted to know maybe what influence Brad Stevens has had on you and with you and how you feel about playing in Boston and for the Celtics.
Yeah, when I first got traded here, he was obviously one of the first people that I talked to, and I just think his positive nature. He has this kind of this kind soul.
From 6 to 12. What were you looking for coming out of that first time out that might have made the second one not needed?
Yeah, just trying to keep, Boston's a team that can run off threes in a hurry. So just trying to keep that from happening. Also looking at just trying to give my guys some rest because they're fighting extremely hard. We're playing uphill. And so the lead went from 6 to 12, but then we responded after that second timeout.
Front row here on the left.
Hey, Coach. Maria Turner here with D210 Sports. How much did free throws factor into tonight's loss?
Big. The small things, we don't, we have to do the small things, and that's part of the game. Those are points that we left on the board, and we didn't shoot free throws well tonight, and we have to be better.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Kyrie came out early, looked like he was rolling. Why do you think his rhythm was disrupted and he wasn't able to be as impactful offensively the rest of the game?
He had great looks. He just didn't go down. That's just the game of basketball. Sometimes you make them, sometimes you don't. You continue to keep playing. He had some good looks that just didn't go down for him tonight.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Luka was in here just a minute ago, said that his missed free throws and his turnovers cost you guys the game. I'm just wondering your perspective on the totality of his performance.
Yeah, he was great. No matter what he says, that's just who he is. He's a leader, and it's not all on him. It's a team. We win as a team and we lose as a team, and so he put us in a position. He was really good tonight, and unfortunately we just couldn't get over the hump. I thought our defense was really, really good. We just got to take care of the ball. Just too many turnovers that gave them points, and then also, being able to we got to score the ball. And right now we got to find someone to join Luka and Kai in that scoring category.
Second row, Tim.
Tim Cato, The Athletic. Jason, it seemed like, Luka got Boston to blink a little bit. There was more help. They were leaving players open more often, like you said. There just needs to be more scoring or more shot making. What did you kind of see in the second half of the way that Boston defended you guys and Luka specifically, and why you guys weren't able to take advantage of that space?
Yeah, I think Luka's a special player. He's one, if not the best player in the world, and he causes a problem. And he's able to find guys, again, creating open opportunities, and we just didn't take advantage of it. And we'll go back and look and see if we can get even better looks. But the looks that we got, we just missed some open threes. It was good to see Exum knock down an open three, and hopefully we can build on that.
Second row on the right.
Jason, Matt Votor, Mass Live. On Wednesday, you talked about the Shaq and Kobe teams and said you felt like your Nets teams weren't good enough. You mentioned that Golden State Warrior team that beat both you guys and the Celtics. With your young guys, do you have to kind of get them in the right headspace to not be concerned that they're not good enough after two games, especially when Celtics haven't shot all that well?
Yeah, I think we do have quite a few young players, and for them to have fun and enjoy this and learn from it, and that's what they're doing. And we've counted on them all year, not just here in the finals, but throughout the season, and also in the Western Conference Finals or the playoffs with Oklahoma City or the Clippers. And for them, it's just a matter of getting comfortable and going back home. Hopefully that will help.
Second row here on the left.
DJ Siddiqui of Forbes. As you look to turn this series around, heading back to Dallas, what's the biggest message that you send to your team?
Yeah, we just got to stay positive. Some of us have been in this situation before, and so just take one possession at a time, and we got to focus on Game 3, and that's all.
Last row on the right.
Richard Moore in USA Today. Heading back to Dallas, making the Celtics play on the road. They haven't lost a game on the road yet this year. Are there certain adjustments you can make to make life a little tougher for them in Dallas?
Yeah, they haven't lost a game since May something, right? So, yeah, they're hot. They're not just on the road, but at home. So we got to protect home, and that's it. We got to find a way, continue, again, to build on our defense. Our defense put us in a position to win tonight. Unfortunately, our offense didn't help us. And so, again, Kai and Luka are going to get their looks. It's we got to get someone else involved of being able to knock down some shots. But defensively, we can build on this and we can be better. But we got to take care of the ball. And if we can take care of the ball, hopefully that gives us more opportunities at scoring.
Third row on the right.
Daniel Bell, BSO. Coach, how do you find that balance between playing one-on-one and trying to get those other guys involved?
Yeah, well, I think it's a matter of not just playing one-on-one, but setting it up so that they can get a live ball catch and be able to work. We had there with Luka there for a minute. He was playing, below the defense, and we were able to get him on the box or at the nail, and he took full advantage of that. And so, just being able to move the pieces around, and I thought we did that. We got to take care of the ball. I've said this, I sound like I'm repeating myself, but if we can take care of the ball and not give them live ball turnovers where they're just laying the ball up or dunking it, it puts us in a better seat. And so we just got to take care of the ball. That's the next step in the series.
Last question to the right.
Coach Champ De Lunas from ABS-CBN News Philippines. What can you build on going on to games 3 and 4, like the positives that you could emphasize to your players to encourage them instead of being down?
Yeah, we're not down. We're positive. This is a group that believes. We didn't get an opportunity to get a split or win 2 here on the road. So now Boston held serve, and now we got to go home and hold serve.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start right here in the front.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Kyrie, just what is your overall assessment of how you guys performed today? Where did you see growth, and why was it still ultimately not enough?
I mean, we beat ourselves a little bit tonight just on our turnovers and just some of our defensive rotations. They got a lot of opportunities, second chance opportunities where they got an opportunity to go into fast break and just create just mismatches in transition. So look at some of the positives for sure where we won the first and fourth, but at the end of the day, we got to win all 4 quarters if we want a great chance against this team. And we got to make sure that we create enough separation where we can play comfortably too and freely. So we had a good pulse about the game, I believe, going up until halftime, and then afterwards, they did what other great teams do, where they put their foot on the gas pedal, started pushing a little bit more, penetrating down the lane a little bit more, and creating some opportunities at the free throw line. So, and they converted them tonight, 19 for 20. So you got to give them credit. They definitely picked up their defensive pressure, but I feel like we got some great looks as well. So it's definitely a great test for us. They did what they had to do. They won both games at home. Now it's our job to go home and win both games at home.
Front row, Valencia.
Valencia King, Real Talk Sports out of Dallas. Thank you for your time, Kyrie. Home court advantage is something that gets talked about a lot, especially from a media standpoint. As a player, is that something that you guys can lean into as the series shifts back to Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, you want to take advantage of playing in front of your home crowd, feeling confident, and being able to play in a familiar place. And like I said, they handled what they were supposed to do first 2 games, and now it's our job to go home and handle our business. But you got to give them credit. They kept competing. We kept competing. We just got to stay together in some of the tough times throughout the game where it could be a 4-point lead on them or a 4-point lead that we have. We just got to keep competing, and I think we'll be in a better place, but feel good.
Second row on the left.
Chris Gasper, Boston Globe. Kyrie, it looked like you were in a good flow first half, 5 of 10. Second half, 2 of 8. Did they change anything in terms of the way they defended you? And also, through the 2 games, you got some really good looks from 3. Do you feel like it's only a matter of time before those go down?
Yeah, that's the confidence that I have in myself. A lot of shots were hitting the back rim that could piss you off as a competitor. But it's all part of the game of basketball, and you got to accept the ups and downs of this. That's the I would say the toughest challenge when you're in a series. You want to play extremely well, especially when you're playing in the finals. A little disappointed in myself not being able to convert a lot more of my opportunities that I have in the lane. Obviously I'm going against Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown a few times, but I feel like I have the upper edge on certain possessions where I just got to convert. They're pushing me to my left hand a little bit more. So just got to be aware of some of their adjustments like I was in game 1. Felt good in the first half, but in the second half, just shots weren't going down. And defensively, I was out of position, got some ticky-tack fouls, and just kind of took away from our flow of the game as well. It wasn't just all on me, but I'm definitely taking the majority of it just because, my teammates look to me to convert a lot of these shots and ease the burden, not only just Luka, but everyone else, and settle our team. We've definitely made our identity on the defensive end, but now offensively, I got to play better.
First row, Tim.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. When Luke was in here, he pointed at his turnovers and his missed free throws. He said, those are the reasons you guys lost the game. Just curious your reaction to, Luka taking the blame and specifically citing those 2 things.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last series. He did something similar, but when you're in the finals and you're taking the brunt of the accountability, he definitely, he's in the right for wanting to single himself out. But this is a team game. He's not alone, and we're going to tell him that. But as expected, he's fresh off the court. He's spilling into these emotions. He feels like he could have played better, just like me. I would take a brunt of that responsibility. The first 2 games weren't the best for me, especially him scoring, 25-plus points, getting rebounds, getting assists, doing the intangibles. And, for me, I've always felt responsible for getting other guys comfortable out there too. So, it's on all of us, man. I'm pretty sure if you hear what everybody has to say, they'll say that they can do something better. But I think the message right now is just get our bearings together. We lost by 7 points. We don't want to take the total or the total number, back home and say we're proud of that. We don't want to do that. We want to go home and be prepared to win games. And in order to do that, we got to be ready to defend this good Boston Celtics team, man.
Second row on the right.
Michael Pina, The Ringer. Kyrie, how important is it for you guys to attack and transition a little bit more and avoid half-court offense? Your output with fast break points in games 1 and 2 were the lowest so far of the postseason for you guys.
Yeah, it's just adjusting to the pace. They're playing a great style of basketball, a great brand of basketball where they're pushing in transition. Sometimes those opportunities don't come as often or as easy. They have guys backloaded. They have a lot of guys that are athletic that are running back in transition. You saw when PJ had an opportunity to cut it to 5. You saw Derek White, contest him at the rim. You saw Derek White over there again contesting against D. Lively. Even though he got dunked on, he still came over there and contested, and that's what they've been doing. They have a lot of pride on that end, and they're not going to make it easy on us. So in the fast break component, we definitely can create more opportunities for ourselves when we're in Dallas, and look forward to doing that.
Second row, Vinny.
Kyrie, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. And towards the end of the third quarter, you cut the lead to 6. Peyton Pritchard hits that half-court buzzer beater. And then the Luka play where Drew jumps in the passing lane, they get the steal, they get a 3 out of it. Does it feel like you're close and those plays, those moments just sort of tilt the scales just that much more away from you guys?
Yeah, I just chalk that up to just being in Boston, man. Some of those shots, they go up in the air. And I remember, last game, Sam Hauser caught it in the corner, and I don't even think he brought the ball down. And it was practically all net. So they feel very confident here. They've been a great team all year. Just look at their record. I don't know how many total games they've lost, since the postseason started, but I don't think it's more than 6 or 7. So they've really made their identity here. They want to take care of home court, and now it's our job to go home and do the same. Being in the finals before, down 0-2, I have a little experience in this. Didn't play particularly well in the first 2 games in that series too that I'm referring to. So now I'm just really leaning in on what I've experienced, what I've learned, and some of the lessons I've been able to make sense of, and how to come back in this series, because it is going to be a possession by possession thing, and it is going to be the hardest thing that we've ever done. So I think we got a great feel, a great experience here in Boston, what the finals is like for our group. And now we go home, kind of shake off the cobwebs a little bit, and just be prepared for another fight.
Thanks, Kyrie.
Yes, sir.
I'm thirsty. Is it cooler today?
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Start with Tomer here on the left.
Tomer Zarla with Clutch Points. Daniel, just you guys have faced some deep teams in this playoff run. I'm curious, where do you think the Celtics team's depth ranks, and what is the key to stopping a team that has so many guys who can create off the dribble, create for others and themselves?
Just stay consistent on defense. Our communication is always tested when it comes to games like this because of how much they want to play on the perimeter. We just got to make sure we get those guys inside the line and make sure our rotations are top tier.
Any other questions?
Daniel, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. So you had 2 points at halftime, but you 11 in the second half. What do you think you guys were able to get going inside? Because it's kind of been a missing component in the first game and a half.
You just got to play to the physicality. At the end of the day, they pushing us around. We got to be able to do the same thing. So that's kind of like what the message was when we came out second half, set the tone physically.
First row, Mike.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Jason talked about just finding offense outside of Luka and Kyrie. Obviously, the lob threat is a big part in that. You guys are able to get a couple tonight. Just what can be done to make sure that's sustainable going forward?
Having poise offensively and making sure we get the right guys downhill. Well, pretty much any guy downhill, to be honest. We got a lot of guys that can, drive to the basket and score the ball that gravitate a lot of attention from anybody that's the low man. So we just have to make sure, as bigs, me and D-Live, and make sure we get the guys downhill to where they can get a shot off, or we get a rebound if they miss it, or just throw the lob over the top.
Third row.
Daniel, Gil McGregor from Sporting News.
Kyrie mentioned winning the first and the fourth quarter, and there's some positives there. What do you take from this game and bottle up to try to take back to Dallas and get things in your favor?
I mean, for sure, we're focusing on the positive things at the end of the day. You know, I know Luka said that it was a lot on him when it came down to it. It's a team game. You know, we can't have one person taking the blame for everything because, you know, we all have faults in certain areas on the floor, and we make up for that trying you know, continuing to play through just adversity, any obstacle that we face. You know, we always have to play through that as a team. So, I mean, he missed free throws, I missed free throws. There was a lot of guys that missed free throws tonight, and that hurt us. So, I mean, it's not just on him, not on Kyrie. It's a team thing, and we just have to just come out with the same mindset that we had tonight and try to win all 4 quarters.
First row.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Daniel, there was a lot of guys on this roster that did not have experience in this round coming into this series. You seemed more comfortable as a group tonight now that you are 2 games into the series, even though you did lose both of them. Are there things that you feel like you've learned about what this stage is like, and can that help you at all going forward?
Oh, for sure. This is the biggest stage in the NBA. You know, everybody wants to be here at the end of the season. So, you know, we just have to come prepared, you know, shake off the nerves, get the butterflies out. It's going to be crazy atmosphere, crazy energy. It's the NBA Finals. Everybody wants to be in this situation.
First row, Valencia.
Valencia King, Real Talk Sports. Daniel, thank you for your time. You mentioned the crazy atmosphere that it's going to be when you get back to Dallas. From a media standpoint, we talk about home court advantage. As a player standpoint, is that something that you guys can lean into at this stage?
Yeah, for sure. You know, they got their crowd into it when we came here, and they did their job when it came to just protecting home court. We got to do the same thing.
Third row, Eddie.
Eddie Sefko, Mavs.com. It's the first time you guys have lost 2 in a row in the playoffs. Is the psyche okay for this team, and how do you kind of gather yourself going home?
Just focus on the positives, and then at the end of the day, we just find ways to just make adjustments to what we kind of lacked in certain areas. Most definitely, you know, watch film, learn from it, be ready for the next one.
All the way to the back to the right.
Champ DeLunas from ABS-CBN News. Daniel, Kristaps exploded in Game 1 and Drew on Game 2. Do you think this is because you concentrate your defense too much on JT and JB?
I don't think so. I just feel like they just made plays at the end of the day.
Any other questions?
DJ Sadeghi of Forbes. What is the biggest thing you feel like you guys need to improve upon to turn this series around?
Just our poise, being comfortable in the situation. We have to embrace the atmosphere and just really just embrace whatever's going to be thrown at us. You know, this is a great team that we're playing against, and they're going to throw everything they can at us to just rattle us in any given circumstance. So we just have to take our time.
All right, thanks, Daniel.
It's kind of like we're not taking the bait on you trying to split us up and drive a wedge. And then today, you and Jason combined for almost more assists than their entire team had. So how do you guys block out the outside noise? We talked about this so many times, but it seems like you're showing on the court that you're committed to that. And how has playmaking kind of become a tool for you to really show your greatness?
Yeah, we got a lot of weapons on our team, so we just got to trust what we've been doing all season long, trust our game plan. And we didn't hit shots tonight. I thought we had a bunch of great looks. If you go back and look in the first half, Sam had a bunch of great looks. D-White had some looks that didn't go down, but we didn't panic. We kept guarding. We stayed in the game, and we kept trusting it. And we made enough tonight to win the game. But, we expect to shoot the ball better going forward when we get on the road.
Gary in the center.
Jalen and Gary Wash from Boston Globe. Can you take us through the chase down block of P.J. Washington? You and Derek both converged, and I think both got part of the ball. What happened there? What were you looking at? And can you kind of touch on Derek's impact and the blocks he makes and the defense and just the things he does?
Yeah, Derek has been, all defensive all season long. In that moment right there, we make a tough rim read. Rim reads lead to transition. So we want to manage that a little bit better. But, it's the playoffs. You got to just get back and make a play. And Derek White sprints back. I see they have an advantage. I sprint back and was able to make a play there. But, those are the type of plays that help you win games. And, it's just effort. That's what it comes down to.
Dave over here, third row in the aisle.
Jalen, before Drew said anything to us post game tonight, he wanted to address us and basically say that a comment that he made the other day he felt like was taken out of context, and he would never rank his teammates, and he supports both you and Jason Tatum as superstars. How has kind of his perspective, his wisdom, or his voice been something that's been welcome to this year's group as you've succeeded to this point?
Drew is a great teammate. Nothing short of that. He's brought championship pedigree to our team, so nothing Drew says we question. Drew, he comes in and he just is who he is. He's got that demeanor, that killer-like mentality, and we respect it. You know what I mean? He's a great teammate, and it's just an honor to play next to him.
Abby on the far right.
Jalen, you guys have held the Mavs under 100 in both of these games, and then particularly in the second half tonight, what you did against Luka. Defensively, how are you doing this?
Just like effort plays. I think tonight we wasn't as crisp defensively. It was a lot of miscommunications out there, a lot of stuff that, we gave up that we didn't give up in the first game. So I think we got to be better in that regard. But I just think our effort has been the key. Just the mentality, picking a guy up full court and stuff like that just wears on him over time. But I think we need to be more crisp going into the next two games.
Fourth row on the aisle over here on your left.
Jalen, on a night when shots aren't falling, how big was the buzzer beater that Peyton hit?
Man, that was incredible, and I heard he checked himself in the game too. Like he's been hitting those shots all season long. If anybody's been paying attention to it, he's made I don't know how many of those, at least 3 or 4. So tonight he made it in the biggest of moments. But it's just an example of what we do and have been doing all season long. And how you finish quarters is big. And we didn't finish that quarter great. We got a lot of open looks. We gave up some bad fouls. One of them was mine. I fouled Luka on the back cut. And then me and JT got mixed communication on the switch. Luka had a 3. We got to finish quarters better. But Peyton checks himself in the game and covers us a little bit by hitting the big time shot.
On your right, second row, Shane.
Shane Young, Forward Sports. You kind of touched on it, but what does it say about your composure as a team, the fact that you've repeatedly answered run after run when things get tight in the series?
That's the key. That's majority of what the battle is just managing your emotions. How do you handle adversity? And your will and your perseverance. Everything isn't going to go according to plan. I wouldn't have hoped that we shot, 7 for 23 from 3. And we had a few ill-advised turnovers and fouls, but, effort makes up the difference. And, your mindset. I think we play harder than them tonight, and I think that's just going to be the key. If we want to win, we got to just be the harder playing team.
Chris here on the left on the second row.
Hey, John. Chris Ryan with iHeart. When you have kind of had focus with regard to Luka and Kyrie in this series, what's been the mindset in regard to making them work on both ends, and how key has your depth been in regard to giving them multiple looks? Luka had to worry tonight about getting his pocket picked a couple times. What's the focus been on that side?
That's the key. Just trying to wear on those guys, be as physical as we possibly can, full team effort. Just keep touching them. That's it. I think that those guys are tremendously gifted offensively, and they came out swinging. Luka came out in the first quarter. We knew what he was going to do. We knew he was going to be aggressive, but we just stayed with the game plan. We stayed just consistent, and we was able to turn them over a few times. That helped us push the lead out.
CLNS Media. Jalen, you mentioned the defense that they're showing you and Jason, the extra bodies, some of the crowds you're seeing in the paint. How much more equipped do you and Jason feel to kind of handle that and make the right passes? Maybe not shoot as well as you want to, but have 12 assists or as many potential assists as you have in a game like this.
Yeah, and that's just being patient. And you got a lot of energy, excitedness, nerves when the game starts, but sometimes you just got to be patient. And I got to the paint pretty much whenever I wanted. And, I could be patient when I get there. I had a few turnovers where I had a little bit more time. to wait for the defender to make a choice, because those 2-on-1 reads are there, where you get to the paint, the defender is the big is coming, you either kick it to the corner, or if he drops down to the corner, you kick it to the wing. But don't got to be in a rush. Just protect the ball, make the great decisions, and trust your teammates. And I think that's what majority of this is. And we did that enough tonight, but I think we need to do it a little more going into Dallas.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll have Jason soon.
Shooting struggles he's having to start the series than 2 years ago, against Golden State here with the passing and everything else he's doing. And how important was it having Drew in that dunker spot for him to have a little bit of an outlet there in that first half?
Yeah, before that, I think the play of the game can't go unnoticed. The humility of our team is Peyton's shot at the end of the quarter, and you see guys around the league pass up on that shot or fake like they want to take it, and so that their numbers don't get messed up. And he takes pride in taking that, and that's winning basketball. So that's the first and foremost. That should have been the first question: is the ability of our everybody on our team to do different things that lead to winning. So. I'm really tired of hearing about one guy or this guy or that guy and everybody trying to make it out to be anything other than Celtic basketball. And everybody that stepped on that court tonight made winning plays on both ends of the floor. That's the most important thing. And then to answer your question, Jason makes greatness look easy. He does it in a lot of different ways. He does it on defense. He does it on rebounding. Does it on passing. Does it on screening. He's a tremendous player and hard to coach him. And he has the ability to affect the game in different ways. We're a different team. But it takes everybody to do it. That should answer everyone's question.
Jake over here on the left side.
Joe, that being said, was there an emphasis for Jason to play more of a distributor role tonight? It seemed like that was kind of his personal agenda out there.
The emphasis and where he's grown over the last 2 years is to take what the defense has given him and learn to impact the game in many different ways. And because of the type of team that we've had, especially this year, he's seen a bunch of different coverages and he's seen different matchups because teams have to match up with our team. And so coming into a game, it's kind of similar to a puzzle, and he's done a great job learning how to solve the puzzle and do different things. Tonight, with the way that they were rotating and the way that they were defending, the most important thing was making the right play at the rim, and we were able to stay out of transition because our guys made that. And so I thought he did a tremendous job doing what the game called for.
Dave over here on the left.
Joe, you guys trailed at the end of the first quarter. Luka had 13. Drew ends up outscoring Luka in quarters 2 through 4. What allowed you guys to get him going on offense? And obviously, as you mentioned, a lot of you guys can do a lot of different things for you. But when a guy like Luka has it going like that, how much of a boost is it to get an extra scoring boost from a guy like Drew?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to take a look at, we gave up a 26-point first quarter and then 3 25-point quarters. In the 26-point first quarter, we fouled a 3-point, we messed up the 2 for 1 and fouled a 3-point shooter. For 3 free throws, Luka gets 2 shooting free throws. We give up a transition basket to P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington hits an above the break 3. That's almost 70% of the points there. So that, like, the game was going the way we wanted it to go outside of the things that we can control. And I thought our guys took the poise and remained the mindset and the toughness to understand that. And then Drew, it's connected, and that's what people don't realize is like every guy on our team can't be at their best if this guy doesn't do that. So Jason's facilitating, Jalen's decision-making, that leads to Drew's playmaking. And the way that they're defending us, we have to make multiple plays. We have to have multiple drives. And I think Drew did a great job. Guys did a great job finding him. He did a great job attacking closeouts and then either kicking it back out for a second drive or getting an open shot. And then what he can do defensively, it just goes back to everybody on the team works to impact the game differently every single night.
Gary, all the way in the middle.
Joe, Gary Wash from Boston Globe. On the play that Tatum was blocked at the rim, Derek ran from the Mavericks in front of the Mavericks bench and caught Washington. I mean, that was sick. Yeah, it's uncanny. Yeah. I mean, we agree on that. I mean, what is it about him? He just makes an intangible plays. He hits the 27-footer to beat the shot clock. Like, it just seems like he is so reliable. I mean, can you touch on that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it just comes back to he's not defined by one thing. He's not if you were to ask, like, he's just a little bit of everything. He can handle in pick and roll. He can score in pick and roll. He can stay spaced. He's not defined by scoring. He rebounds. He plays defense. He can play pick and roll ball handler, the pick and roll screener. He's had blocks on bigs. And so he's just another guy that's selfless and wants to impact the game in any way that he can. And it looks different every night. And I think the thing about him is the confidence that he has to maybe go some possessions or half or, because teams are guarding us differently, his frequency can be impacted because of that at times. But he just fights to impact the game in different ways.
John over on the right.
Joe, John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. when a team is shooting, struggling shooting from three, there might be a tendency to say, okay, we're just going to drive it. But you guys continued to, when you did drive it, make those right reads despite that. What kind of discipline does it take to not get into that thing of like forcing missed layups that you keep talking about that could trigger another team's run, and to keep kicking it out, and eventually a couple of huge threes fall down at the end?
Yeah, listen, the most important thing is getting a good shot and not turning it over. So in the first half, even though we're missing, our expected points per shot was much higher than theirs, and I liked every shot that we took, and that's the most important thing, is take what the defense gives you, whether it's a layup or there. And the second piece to that was our offensive rebounding. And so I think we had an offensive rebounding rate in the first half of like 41%. And died down in the second half. But like when you're not shooting it well, you still want to make the right play so that it doesn't impact the other end of the floor. But you have to have the offensive rebounding capacity to get extra possessions. And I thought we did a really good job of that in the first half and had some timely ones in the second half.
Joe Varden, The Athletic. Did Porzingis re-aggravate the calf, and what's your concern level for him for Game 3?
No, 0. He's good.
Next question, standing back left on 2. Hold on for the mic.
Joe, Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. You touched on it briefly, but the buzzer beater that Porzingis, that Pritchard hit, huge shot, his only make of the night. What makes you trust him in those moments?
He has the humility and the selflessness to not care if he misses it. He practices it and has an understanding of how a shot like that can impact the end of a quarter and can impact the run that a team makes. So that, they had went on a run to end the quarter, and I thought that shot kind of gave us a little bit of poise and a little bit of momentum that we needed heading into the fourth quarter. That was big time.
Tim, last question here. We got Derek White coming in next.
You sub Peyton in right before that. Was the plan for him to run up and take that shot there?
Yeah. He takes pride in that, yes.
And you guys, you pride yourself on process a lot as a team. Obviously, in a night where you didn't hit a lot of shots, especially from deep, the offense kept moving. You kept trusting the shots, and you hit a couple late. Did you like the way you guys stuck with?
Yeah. Because you have to look at the other side of the coin. If you get away from the discipline and doing what you're doing in those situations, it's going to lead to other things. And it goes to the trust that the guys have in each other. And so as long as you're taking great shots, you have to trust the process. On the back end of that, you got to have your offensive rebounding rate to help you. And when things aren't going that way, you have to keep them off the free throw line, which you didn't do a great job of. But we had 3 25-point quarters. So what usually happens is you have those empty possessions on the offensive end, your defense starts to wane, or you start to mistrust the discipline of your spacing and your shot selection, and you end up giving transition and getting cross-matched. And so the guys trusted and stayed disciplined, and we were able to stay out of cross-matches, and we were able to kind of, keep the game in the way we wanted to play it.
Thank you, Coach.
I feel like people kind of took that out of context, and I've been hearing that I prefer JB over JT, and that's not what that was. I like to praise my teammates. I like to praise my teammates when they're playing well, and I feel like that's what I did my best to do. When I got here, JT was the first person to text me. I already know that, and both of them know how I feel about them and how I feel about them as players, but to compare them is something that I would never do because they're two completely different players, as well as being on the same team and the things that they've done in this organization and the things that they've done against me as an opponent. I feel like how they play together and how they work together is something that is sacred and something that can't be broken. So just to address the comment yesterday, I do not prefer one or the other. I prefer both. Both of them are superstars, and it's being shown out here on the biggest stage in the world. Questions, please.
First question in the back right.
Champ Lunas, ABS-CBN News. Drew, how were you able to shred Dallas's defense, effectively cutting to the basket majority of the game? And how do you feel when Kyrie gives up the ball when you guard him?
Again, I don't think I'm shredding the defense. I think it's more so JT and JB. Especially tonight, JT was getting into the paint and being double teamed and making the right plays out of it and just finding me. Just either being at the dunker or being in the corner. He has that vision as a playmaker, so I would give that to them.
Back left, standing.
Drew, Kari Thompson, Boston Globe. The buzzer beater that Peyton hit, if he doesn't hit that, you guys are up 6 going into the fourth. Just as someone with your defensive chops, what does that do to a defense when someone hits a shot like that at the end of a quarter?
Well, first I fouled Kyrie and put him on the free throw line, and I got my third foul, so Peyton came in for me. So that's
No, I didn't want to foul him, but I'm kind of glad that I did. And the energy that Peyton brings, him just having the balls to take that shot, and he's done it so many times this year where he's had the courage to take it and he's knocked it in, has been huge for us. So it was definitely a confidence boost, and really just boosted us for the rest of that game.
Shane, on your right.
Shane Young with Forbes. I'm just curious, what, in your opinion, drives the closeness and togetherness of this group? Is part of it the fact that everyone's had to sacrifice a little bit of something?
I think when you sacrifice together and you do something together, it brings you closer. I think being able to go through wins and losses and to build something, it means a lot. So when you go through things like that, I think it makes you closer, and I think that that's what this team has done. From 1 to 15, somebody sacrificed something. So it's been great, and the journey's been awesome. But at the end of the day, the job's not done.
Jake, over here on the left.
Drew, you were praising JT's ability to draw to and make the right read. When you're in the dunker, going on the baseline, for him specifically compared to other ball handlers on your team, what are you reading about his handle and what he's doing to try to put yourself in the right position?
I think just trying to get into space and trying to be in his vision. I know that sometimes when I drive and I might get stuck, I need somebody to drift with me or to kind of be in space and be in my vision. So I think for the most part, I just try to stay in front of him, give him a good outlet, and he's been making great reads.
On your right, fifth row in the aisle.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Drew, I know lots of things probably factor into why a player is comfortable with a certain team, but I wanted to know maybe what influence Brad Stevens has had on you and with you and how you feel about playing in Boston and for the Celtics.
Yeah, when I first got traded here, he was obviously one of the first people that I talked to, and I just think his positive nature. He has this, he's kind of this kind soul, somebody who has great energy about him. So every time that I talk to him and every time I see him, he's always been encouraging, and this has been from the beginning. So it's always nice to have somebody like that have your back, and again, somebody like that in your corner in your organization.
Dave on the left on third row.
Drew, if Jalen and Jason are the superstars on this team, what's your role? And if you're going to be the team's leading scorer, leading rebounder, and shoot the highest percentage in Game 2 of the Finals, why aren't you a superstar as well?
I'm a utility guy. I do whatever. I'm here to win. I feel like they brought me here to win, and I'll do my best to do that. But at the end of the day, this is their team, and I know it's probably just as much as my team as theirs. But again, I feel like I've talked about this before. The pressure that they have on themselves to execute and to be great is a little bit different than my pressure. And again, I've always been honest about that, and how they always handle themselves has been something that's been so honorable. So it's slightly different. They're superstars, and I'm here to support.
Rachel.
Hey, Drew. 2 games in to another NBA Finals. You were up 2-0 in that one also, but just very different teams. So I'm curious how this Finals experience so far has been different from your first one.
Yeah. Well, that one we're actually down 2-0. That was slightly different. But I think
all I remember is the win.
Yeah, and that's all I remember too. Is so I think it's a little different. That again, different team, different setting, different year. Definitely having COVID year, it was a bit weird, but I think being on this team, the journey to this point has been great. But we still know being up 2-0 means nothing. Job's not done, and we have to do whatever it takes.
Has it felt a lot different from you, though, being here a second time?
Yeah, I would say maybe I'm a bit more comfortable, just knowing kind of the pressure and the atmosphere and obviously what's on the line. This is a bit different.
Second row in the center.
Drew, during one of those extended timeouts in the second quarter, it looked like you guys had a pretty tight huddle and a long huddle. What conversations do you remember from that huddle in particular, or what kind of conversations are players having with each other when the game is kind of going back and forth?
Yeah, in huddles like that, it's intimate, and it's something that we kind of hold close and dear to ourselves. So I think in times like that, encouraging each other, being able to police ourselves, in times like that when we might be doing something that is uncharacteristic, or even if we're doing something great, all those things are brought up in those moments to where we can really just go out there and do our best to win the game.
Chris over here on the left.
Drew, you mentioned you're kind of brought here to win, and the guys have all seemingly kind of looked to you as the guy with experience, the guy that knows what it takes. How have you embraced that role, and how has that role kind of manifested during the finals here as well?
Man, I love my teammates. They've been here before. They've been here before, and they know what it takes and to get to this point. And they've shown it. You've seen them in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you've seen them in the finals before. And we're all determined as a team. We all want this, and it's something that it's collective. So I won't say that I do much or I talk much. I feel like I'm more of an action type of guy. And I go out there and I play hard as I can and do whatever the team needs for us to win.
Last question on your right, second row.
Drew, Derek was in here and he said he was very grateful that you came in and sort of adapted the way you did, because he said you could have come in here and said, "I'm Drew Holiday," and he would have just sort of accepted that you were the all-star that was coming in. Was there a moment in the season where you felt that you guys as a team really clicked in terms of that chemistry, or was it just sort of natural from the start?
I think it was natural. I think that they had chemistry and some things I had to figure out. But that just goes to show how great of teammates I have. There's been times where I've struggled kind of figuring out my place or what I wanted or what I need to do to help the team win. And Derek's been the person who has talked me through it. I've been point guards on other teams and I've been shooting guards on other team, but Derek is our point guard and he's shown that the whole season. But I would say that there are different times in the season where each guy has kind of come and talked to me about how they felt and how they saw the game and what I could do to help and all that. And that's helped me out tremendously getting to this point.
Thank you.